Is this the last Cleveland National Air Show? Coming up after this. The city of Cleveland is expected to announce the future of Burke Lakefront Airport over the coming weeks. Signal Cleveland reported on June 4 that the city had expected to release the results of the studies, but something came up to delay the release of the reports. During his 2021 mayoral campaign, Mayor Justin Bibb announced his intentions to close the airport and open up the lakefront. The city commissioned 2 studies to look at the economic impact of the airport and its possible closure. It was reported that the city met with the Federal Aviation Administration on June 8. If the city were to close Burke Lakefront, they would have to pay back the money that the FAA gave the city over the years for improvements on the property. The airport is currently operated by several fixed-base operators and flight schools, as well as air ambulance companies, news organizations, Cleveland Police and the Cleveland Clinic. It is also the home of the International Women's Air and Space Museum and has hosted the air show since the 1960s. It opened in 1947 as the first downtown airport in the United States and serves as a reliever airport for nearby Cleveland Hopkins. The airport's total operations have decreased over the past 2 decades, from over 100,000 flights in 2000 to just over 40,000 in 2019. The airport has lost millions of dollars over the years, posting a $640,000 loss in 2022. The airport's losses are subsidized by profits at Hopkins Airport. The Cleveland Browns dropped a bombshell earlier this year when it was reported that they purchased 176 acres of land in Brook Park near Hopkins in February. The lease on the current Browns Stadium, located on the lakefront near Burke, expires in 2028. The Haslam Group, owners of the Browns, have proposed a $2.1 billion stadium on the site, or $1.2 billion in renovations to be split among private and public funds on the current stadium. Neotrans reported in June that the land that Burke sits on was offered to the Browns as an alternate site, and a proposal of up to 12 buildings, parkland and a new domed stadium are in the works. Both the city and the Browns declined to comment, but the city has made clear its intentions to keep the team downtown. The airport director at Cleveland Hopkins, Brian Francis, has also shared concerns about traffic flow to the airport if the stadium was moved next door. Plans to reroute I-71 near the airport are already part of the $2 billion master plan for the airport, but that plan has not yet been approved, and it may be years before construction would be complete on the project. Should the Haslams choose to accept the Burke land, it could still take years before the project could begin. Ending operations at the airport would involve significant government approval and environmental work, as the airport currently sits on a landfill and may not be suitable for development. But infrastructure downtown already exists that could handle the hundreds of thousands of fans that attend the games. Another potential drawback is the report that the Haslams want the profit for parking at the games, which is currently shared among the operators of parking decks and lots around the stadium downtown. It remains to be seen what happens, but it seems very unlikely that the Browns will continue to play in the existing stadium after the lease expires. The first Cleveland Air Show was held in 1964, but really was an offshoot of the National Air Races, held on and off at Hopkins from 1929 to 1949. The air show reports an annual economic impact of $7.1 million, and numerous non-profit and school organizations use the event to raise money for their causes. The air show is also consistently voted as one of the best in the nation by fans and performers alike, and routinely hosts award-winning performers such as the Blue Angels and Thunderbirds. There are alternatives that could potentially keep the air show in town. While using Hopkins is unlikely due to its traffic and layout, The show could potentially explore a move to another airport such as Cuyahoga County Airport or Akron-Canton Airport, but would take approval from those communities and would likely be an economic loss for Cleveland. A lakefront show, like Thunder over Louisville, Fort Lauderdale or Milwaukee would also be possible if the city and airport chose to go that route. However, the air show already competes with Columbus and Dayton for acts, and losing the Burke site could cause potential performers to shy away. Any plan to close the airport would likely take several years, but I would highly recommend attending this year's air show and making your voice heard if you would like to keep the Cleveland National Air Show at home in downtown Cleveland. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos for aviation content in Cleveland and abroad. Thank you for watching.